So I used to do both my work in Kampala and also in Chirinya. For those clients who didn't have, who were living nearer to Chirinya, who were in Mukono or who were in Chirinya or Boyogere or Chireka, they would easily come to my office in Chirinya and I would meet them from there. So we offered services. We had a very humble beginning, especially here in Uganda. We had a few clients coming in and talking to us about immigrating to Canada and how they can be helped out and how they can be sorted without fear of being scammed with the right information and the right processes. And we helped them out and we did business with them. Then over the years, we're working at that pace. And over those years still, the proprietor came over several times to Uganda to do personal promotion, and we had several seminars. I remember we had one seminar at Serena Hotel in 1 year. Then another year we had a seminar at MOOBS, and we also had a seminar at Victoria University. So we moved on. We moved on from there, and we've been growing slowly but steadily and surely. And Madam Proscovia got the idea of launching the Ugandan office, which we opened last year in July. She got the idea of opening that office, and we had an unofficial office launch, which was last week. Yeah, last week on Thursday. And we had a successful launch. And just after the launch, her first visit and talk was to Emmaus SDA Church. And we are happy and glad to receive her. I'm saying that we're happy and glad to receive her because I'm from Chirinya. So I'm also welcoming her here, though I may not be a member of this church. So, Madam Proscovia, you're very welcome. Please, I humbly, by the way, before, as you're coming over, I recognize the presence of Mr. Turiasima Maimuko, the husband to Mrs. Proscovia Nabafu. She's going to talk to you more about Nabafu Immigration Consulting Services. Prosi, this is your time.
Thank you, Francis. Happy Sabbath, everyone. Wow, I didn't know that. It took me by surprise. I was expecting Happy Sabbath. Anyway, I greet you all in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. I'm so glad to be here. And we worship from Edmonton, a church called Africa Fellowship, SDA Church. So it has so many African countries, but you can hardly tell. They are from different African countries. We're just one person in there. So it's the church I love so much. And it's just a home away from home church. And while we're in Uganda, we worship from Much India SDA Church. That's the church we're worshiping from before we moved to Canada. And we're so attached to it. Whenever we come, that's where we worship from. So I'm glad to be here. Like my colleague introduced me, my name is Proscovia Nabafu. I always introduce myself in that order. It has a lot of meaning. There's a reason as to why I do that. And I'll tell you why later. First and foremost, maybe before I continue, maybe we shall have a word of prayer first. Is there an elder ministers? Yes. Okay.
Okay, let's humble ourselves and pray. Eternal Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you once again for this moment. You say that your words are eternal and your words are truth. And when we share from your word, we are edified. Our faith grows. We pray that even in this moment, may you put your words in your servant's mouth as she breaks down different perspectives of life and experiences. Lord, I pray that you'll speak from your presence and from your throne, that we will not leave this place the same way we came. We pray all this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Elder. So, today, by the way, I was invited here by Elder Samson Rahwire. Am I saying it? Yes. Yeah. Elder Samson Rahwire. I don't see him here. I thought he'll be around by this time. He's coming. So it's like me and Samson, it's been like from way back. I first knew him when I was in MOBS. So Francis introduced me as a CPA, SCCA. I have all, I think the letters haven't yet received, maybe Z and I don't know what. But I passed through Makerere University Business School. That's where I did my Bachelor's of Business Administration, accounting option. And before that, I was still in MOBS. I was doing a diploma in catering, which I never practiced really, but I think my husband sees some catering in what I do. If it doesn't, I don't know. But yeah, maybe it has disappeared. But yeah, I have a catering diploma. So I was in MOBS for 5 years. While in MOBS, I was a vice lady, vice, they call them lady vice president for MUBS, and I was also a leader of the Students Association, SDA. So while there, because we're having a chat with one of the pastors, pastoring a young church, also having students, and right now they have a lot of support, which support we did not have at our time. So when we were at the university, we students took care of ourselves, our spiritual needs. We didn't have any support from the church. So the students came together to select their leader, and the leader had to, with the students' advantage there, we had to fight for ourselves. But I'm glad nowadays, at least they give them a Sabbath school branch, and I think the board, which is a very good thing. It's very good to invest in young people. Because yesterday I was in that position. Today I'm I'm going to a seniors age bracket, and our children are the ones in that place right now. But it's very, very important that we support young people, because they're the ones going to be strengthening, the church leadership. So I'm glad that happened. But while I was there, Elder Samson was young. I think he wasn't even at the university yet. He was in, I think, high school. He had a friend called Owen. Awake. Yes, there were two. They used to, those, I called them boys. But right now, I watch them grow, and I watch them grow on social media. I'm like, wow, this is really inspiring. They grew into very responsible people. He's now a doctor. Sometimes I wonder, should I call him Samson or doctor? I don't know. But to me, like, that picture is still there. One thing I knew about them, they had the zeal. My friend, who is even a Muslim, and there was supposed to be another member from the university, from MOBS, who was supposed to come. He didn't come. I think maybe he came. So it was 3 of us, 2 church members and 1 visitor. And that visitor is Aisha. My husband knows her. So sometimes, like, we still talk about those moments. I remember you took me to your church and we're just 3 of us, and 1 was a preacher, and that's how it was. But we held on to it, and by God's grace, here we are. So after MOBS, I went to the UK to start SCCA, and because I realized with a degree in accounting, you can't be very competitive in the accounting field without a designation. In Canada, we call them designations. I think here they call them professional accounting. Yeah, because the lecturer one time in MOB said that. So instead of doing masters in the UK, I changed to do ACCA, which I completed. And right now we are certified public accountants. Actually, my husband and I were both accountants in the house. And we're all CPAs in Canada, both with ACCA and CPA Canada. And besides that, there's so many things I have done. So I'm also a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, meaning that I am licensed to do Canadian immigration, and that is very, very important. I'll get to it in depth when I've finished what I have to present. I'm also an authorized recruiter for the universities and any post-secondary education in Canada. I also do recruitment for people who want to study in the UK, Germany, Ireland, Australia. So that we also do that. And yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just leave out some of them. And I'm also an aspiring real estate agent. That is a new course I'm going to do. All that is related to what I'm going to say. So when Sam approached me, actually he was so mad at me. I think he didn't want to talk to me anymore. Because I used to come to Uganda and I promised that I would come and visit. I never came. So this time he wasn't very friendly. He was like, I told you, you come and you've not come. When are you coming? I'm like, this time I promise I'm coming. Okay, said, I wanted you to come and speak to the youth, come and inspire the youth. I'm like, okay, yeah, I am coming. And here I am. So I'm glad to be here. And so I just want to share with you, because much as I'll talk a little bit more about immigration, the main reason to why I came here is to inspire the youth and just encourage you in your journey as you grow up and as you make decisions so that you become a better person each day. So I'm going to talk about a topic known as embracing a growth mindset. Okay? And as I share this, I will be also relating to my own story. Okay? I'm not any different from you. Probably at this time with some of, okay, I don't see many very young people, but some of the ages of the more young people that are here, maybe I was even worse off than you are, right now. So this is just an encouragement for you as you make your career choices, as you make, your decisions for the future, to ensure that you just hang on to it, you don't give up. So I chose this topic because I know in most cases it's the one, if it's not well handled or if decisions are not well made, then you're likely to make a wrong choice, and that can affect your life negatively. So embracing a growth mindset means believing that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. It's a perspective that views challenges and opportunities for learning and growth rather than threats of one's abilities. Okay? So cultivating growth mindset can lead to increased resilience, adaptability, and love for learning. You don't give up in your learning. Okay? So embracing growth involves learning from your setbacks and you thrive. Okay? It involves learning from your setbacks and then you thrive. The power of a growth mindset will automatically fall in place if you look at, for example, you don't give up on trying new stuff, and when you fail, you don't feel like, this is the end of me. And when you get challenges ahead of you, I remember Dr. Balunywa, because I was in MOBS for 5 good years, non-stop. So I remember his quotes very well. He said, those are hiccups. If you get challenges in life, those are hiccups. So with the hiccup, you just do whatever it does and continue, drink water and move on, right? So that is what it is. So a growth mindset does not mean that everything will magically fall into place. No, it means understanding that success is built on learning, persistence, and willingness to evolve. Okay? The first step is recognizing that abilities can be developed through hard work. and dedication. It does not happen overnight. It happens over time, okay? So there is also manifestation, taking the right steps towards growth. So if you think, for example, of an idea, take a step. Even in the Bible, as we study the Bible, the people who had faith took steps. You don't just pray and sit back. So same applies to that. If you decide to work on something and take a step, take a leap of faith to work on it, that's when you'll be able to see results, or you see that you fail and get up again. Okay? So also embracing the feedback without fear. So if you took a step and then you're doing maybe something wrong, somebody commented on it and says maybe this happened in a wrong way, embrace it. Seek for opportunities to grow from where you failed. Don't just give up. Don't listen to negativity. Okay? Then overcome the fear of failure. Successful businessmen, successful people in life don't fear failure. You fail and still continue to work on it. And anytime you fail, it means that is a period, like it's some level of experience that you're going to gain, and that is going to help you go through, okay? So, practical ways, I'm just going to share with you practical ways to cultivate a growth mindset. Number one, reframe your thinking. Reframe your thinking. Don't say, I cannot do that. Everybody can do anything. There is one thing I believe in life, that if something has no brain and I have a brain, I am going for it. Okay? Yeah, look at it and say, it has no brain. God has given you the brain. Then why can't you do it? It doesn't mean that you're going to do it right first time, maybe even not second time, maybe even not third time, but you're going to do it. Okay? So don't say, I cannot, just say, I have not yet. Okay? Number two, embrace learning. So if you want to continually improve, then you have to like learning. I personally don't enjoy reading books so much, but when I have a goal to achieve, I am going to read those books. If I'm using a bus, I'm going to read on the bus, on my phone. In the night, my husband is here to witness. I am going to read. If I get tired of reading, I'm going to put on YouTube. Then actively, there should be question marks. Seek feedback. Say, how did I perform? Where should I improve? Especially room for improvement. Then set realistic incremental goals. Don't just wake up, then you say, I'm going to build, maybe I don't know what, a big building without even, start small and achieve that small goal, then set another one, achieve it, grow, like have space to grow. Because if you start with a big one and then you have a big fall, probably you'll never get up. Okay? Then the fifth one, surround yourself with growth-oriented people. Surround yourself with growth-oriented people. It doesn't mean that those who are not growth-oriented can't be your friends. I'm personally a very friendly person. Like, I have friends all over. Like, in all the circles of life, I have friends. But I know when I need this, I go to this group of friends. When I need this, I go to this group of friends. Now, some of you may not be blessed like me, because in most cases, when I reach somewhere, I easily attract like people. I become, like I easily acquire friends. That is who I am. But some people are kind of introvert, which is not wrong, because we are created differently and for God's own reasons. But if you're such a person, then at least get people who are going to be having a positive impact on you. Don't surround yourself with people who are negative, who think they can't do stuff, who fear even to try out stuff. Okay? So a growth mindset isn't a one-time shift. It's a long process. It's about seeing potential where others see limits. Okay? And understanding that your ability to succeed is based on how much you are willing to put to work. The beauty of growth mindset is that it's never too late. You can start wherever you are, okay? Even after going so many miles off the road, you can stop there, and then you focus, and you start having this mindset, then you get a redirection. That's the beauty of having a mindset for growth. So that is a short presentation to you about embracing a growth mindset. I hope it's beneficial to you. Coming back to my life, I'm a very humble person, born in Mbale, and so I'm a Mugisu, very proud, married to a Muchiga man, very proud. So I call myself Mugisu Muchiga. I normally don't give out my social media stuff, but but this is church, because I don't want it to be attached to professionalism. Sometimes where we are, they look you up in Facebook. I want to be free on Facebook. And if I want to be very professional, I go to LinkedIn. Like, that is who I am. So I don't call my real names on Facebook. But I call my name on Facebook Mugisu Muchiga. That is who I am. And that's where it came from. Yeah. So when I was growing up, and just related to this topic, when I was growing up, I grew up with my grandparents because my mom was working in the East African community. So I was raised by grandparents. And I grew up in the village, but I think I wasn't meant to be in the village because I used to have many allergies that village people don't even understand. Even I got to grow and go to Canada. This is when I realized, oh, these were allergies, you know? And what are the things what do I mean? Number one, I couldn't cook on firewood. I could not cook on firewood. I could not dig. I could not do anything the village people do. And once you're in the village at that time and you can't do those things, you're declared to be a lazy person. So officially in my family, I was well known as a lazy person. That was the laziest. Actually, that is a brand that everyone knew me about. Like, I couldn't. Then the ash is all over my face. My eyes are red. I'm blowing my nose like crazy. And the tea would just smell smoke. Then they will come back from the garden. They make fun of me. Okay, when it came to maybe sweeping the house, right now our village house is very okay. But those days, it had no cement. It was dusty. I couldn't stand the dust. The same thing, like they leave me home at least to do that. It couldn't also happen. Like, generally, I was considered a useless person in the home. And then one thing I accepted I was lazy is washing dishes. So our home had many people. My grandparents raised so many people. So you'd look at the dishes, or the plates here. We call them plates. They are this high, and you're this short. I wasn't as this sizable as I am. I look at the dishes, I just cry. Generally, there was nothing I could do, officially. And I also accepted. The only thing I did good was in class. That was the only day of reports. That's when I would go home happy, because I had a good report, and everyone would celebrate me for the day. Then come the next day, I go back to the same. But one person who really encouraged me was my grandfather. Okay? My grandfather just looked at the one thing that I was good at. One thing in life, in the village. Remember that time, girls, if you're good in class, who cares? I was a girl, probably they knew I would get married. But they told me I won't be able to get married, by the way. Because they said, who will marry you? So I knew myself that I won't even get married. Then my grandfather said, oh, this girl will fly with papers. The papers will get her to fly. At that age, when I had no hope, that was the only word of hope I received from my family members. Only, and that was my grandfather. I'm like, oh. Then others would comment, maybe if you study so hard and you get servants to work for you. I'm like, oh, okay, at least there is hope. So what I did is I had to cling on my grandfather's statement. the positive statement, only him. So my grandfather, well, he died in 2015. But one thing I remember about him is I'm here because of him. And because of just that one word, or one sentence, of what the words of encouragement that he used to say to me. So whatever I did in class, because I knew it was my only strength, so I put in my all. So whatever I did was to please him. He even said I'll become a professor at 30 years. Trust me, I tried. I'm past 30, I'm not a professor. But what happened is I just went for accounting. And if you go to accounting, then you don't think of masters, especially if you're in Uganda. You think of SCCA, you think of CPA. So I had to redirect. Otherwise, I was so determined to make him proud to become a professor at 30 years. I was so determined. So when I went to England, I was supposed to do masters, but because they said we have to be competitive as accountants with a designation, that's when I turned and became an accountant. And even going in accounting, it was I could say a joke. I don't think I'm a good accountant, by the way. Very, very good accountant. But I don't think it was my calling because I'm a person who speaks a lot. I joke a lot. Like, I'm so noisy. Even in class, I was noisy. I've done a doubt I'm noisy in the office. Like, if I'm not in the office, they'll notice I'm not there because I am talkative. Like, my husband can witness. So, in the house, I am talkative. With the kids, I am noisy. I'm that kind of person. So I wonder, was I even really meant to be an accountant? To be sincere, I wasn't. But because with the BBA option, with the BBA course at that time, accounting was the hardest. And I was very good in numbers. So I ended, doing accounting, not knowing that this would be my permanent destination. But here I am. So, with that kind of mentality, I just shared with you a little bit about my childhood, because you can be somewhere, okay? You can be somewhere. And right now, cooking is not my biggest problem. Well, thank God I don't cook on firewood. If you take me to firewood, seriously, you won't eat. But thank God for the knowledge He's given to people. At least you can eat when I've not cooked from the firewood. All the things I got scared about, I wasn't. When I went to the UK, I was the most hardworking person my friend Francis knew. Because we used to work I used to, not you, me. Yeah. Uh-huh. Thank you. That's how I operated in the UK. So I would study. So I used to, as an international student, I think we used to study 3 days in a week. So I got a job for the remaining 3 days in a week. Then, of course, Sabbath, I couldn't work. So then I used to work also in the nights. So I got to school, I would leave my home on Sunday morning, come back Friday night. I would just go in the train, pass my home, go to school, pass my home, go to work. That's when I realized I'm not even lazy. I am not lazy. Actually, I told my parents I'm not lazy because when I did catering, one of my uncles said, I think you're just going to pass theory. They only trusted my brain. They didn't trust my ability to cook anything. So one time, but the only thing is I never lost hope. I remember when I finished catering, before I finished, we're doing internship. It was in Serena. So I went to the kitchen. I was working in the kitchen and in the pastry department. I made sure I get a cake that I baked. I carried it to Mbale. I showed my uncle, look, you thought I could not cook. I passed theory, but I'm also going to pass practicals. See, this is the cake I baked. And that time, it wasn't like now. Baking a cake that time, it wasn't easy, right? Right now, anybody can bake a cake. So, those little comments never tore me apart. They never tore me apart. Instead, they made me stronger. And I always wanted to prove to the people who were negative to me. And our home is full of jokes, by the way. So they joke, but they are giving it to you. So in the same joking way, I'll take it to them. and say, this is what I baked. So the same way I'm encouraging you. Like, you can make it wherever you are, and even where I am right now, I am still enhancing on my skills. Like, I've not given up. Like I said, I don't like reading. If I don't have purpose for reading, trust me, even the Bible, I struggle. You know? If I have no reason for reading, I am not going to read. That one, I'm not going to read. But if I have a reason to read, I am going to read. Like I told you, I'm going to study now, real estate, and I mean it. So as I say this, I think my husband is worried because I switch on the TV in the bedroom to read when I'm tired of, I rather listen. When I'm tired of reading, I go to the content on YouTube. So even at my age, if I say I want to go for this, I am going for it. There is no age limit to learn. So if you're going to improve continuously, you have to love studying. So don't give up. Continue in life, and who knows, as long as you're still alive, as long as God still lends you breath, only God knows your destination. But sometimes we limit ourselves by thinking that we're not able to do stuff, but we are able to do stuff. Amen? Yeah. Any question about that? And before I share with you, who wants to know about Canada immigration? Anybody? Okay. There are 4 hands, and I think the rest can go after prayers. I'm joking. So, sorry. I told you. I'm just learning to stand in one place. Okay. So back to Canada immigration. Also, I didn't want to leave you without, not having some information on it. And why I introduce myself as Proscovia Nabafu is because that is how my names are written with the licensing authority. So Canada immigration, and why we're focusing on Canada, number one is that is where I live. That's where I live. And I also stayed in the UK, but I didn't really enjoy the life of UK. That's why I never came encouraging anyone to go to the UK. But when I moved to Canada, by the way, my journey to Canada started when I just finished high school. So my dad wanted me to study from their university, but things didn't just work out. That's how I ended up starting with the catering course in MOOPS, because I was chasing Canada things. So people would be in class, I would be moving with my, I'm supposed to be in one place. It's okay to move? Okay. So I would be moving, but I was chasing Canada things. But it delayed a little bit because I didn't see myself being a catering professional, but because it's something I would do as the same time I was chasing my stuff, and it was government sponsored anyway. So when I tried it in high school, and that time it was everything was manual, so it was so slow, and it ended up like I was ending year 1 of my catering degree without knowing where the stage of my immigration or going to Canada to study. So I told my parents I'm not going abroad anymore until I finish a degree course, and I want to do BBA. That's when I enrolled for BBA and continued after second year. Instead of leaving, I continued with first year Bachelor's of Business Administration in MOOPS. So, and I became an accounting professional from that level, from that time. But I have seen people who have tried to do Canada immigration, and when things are not really good going on well for them, they tell me they give up. And sometimes I share with my potential clients my story. I'm like, I wanted to come to Canada after high school, but God wanted me to come to Canada when I was married, and we've even 4 kids. So when we immigrated to Canada, my youngest was 8 months. Right now, she's 13 years. And for God's own reasons. Probably at that time, I would have come back here to talk about immigration with you guys. And sorry, North America English sometimes is not good. It brings in guys, but bear with me. I'm going to tone a lot. So, but God has reasons as to why certain things happen. If he says no, sometimes he's saying wait, it's not the right time. Because I don't see myself as a person who would have immigrated to Canada. Okay, going to Canada to study those years, that was in late 90s. And then seeing myself today coming back to speak to you about this, I don't see myself. And maybe I won't have met my husband, maybe the kids, I don't know what kind of kids I would be having. Probably I won't be married, or I would be living happily single and no child. I don't know, because I wasn't also very easy to convince. But yeah, but there was also that possibility. But God saw what was ahead, and that's what he wanted for me. So he denied me at that time. And then I did my BBA, then went to UK. Then after marriage, we revisited this Canada situation again. And by God's grace, we made it. So when we made it to Canada, like I said, we went to Canada as professionals, accounting professionals. At that time, accountants were in demand in Canada. So we immigrated as skilled immigrants. That does not mean that you immigrate with a job, but they assess you in such a way that you'll be able to get a job and settle quickly. You establish yourself economically faster in Canada. So that's how we assessed, and we went as a family. But as I was working, and the longest time I've worked in Canada was the longest job I've been on in Canada is a job that of heading the financial department in the organization that I work in. So I've headed that department from 2015 up to now. But in 2020 or 2019. So we talked about, I recalled on how we had started the issue of going to Canada. Like when we revisited the idea with my husband, there's an office that was in Garden City. At that time, Garden City was very, very new. So the people who were renting that space were not cheap people. So when we saw an office there, we thought it was genuine. And we went there for that office to do our paperwork. And after a few weeks, that office was no more. It was gone. We paid some of the money. We tried to make phone calls. Can we recover some of the money? The ones who were answered were like, sorry, it's not me. And that was the end. So while we're in Canada, we thought about, having something that could be helpful to our people. And I concentrated on going back to school to do Canadian immigration so that I could come and give the services, or at least the knowledge to first of all, Ugandan people, but also for people from other countries. So initially, when we decided to do immigration, I even didn't know we go to school. So I have my sister, my youngest sister is in Canada as well. She's the one who wanted to go first because I was busy with my profession and my job. And then, but when we discussed, I'm like, maybe let me also join you because Ugandans, they cheated me. Let me join you. But at first we thought we'd just establish an office. So there was an office I would drive by in Edmonton for immigration. I would drive by it going home. And one time I looked at it, I'm like, hey, by the way, let's register our office. We should start. So we ran to register the office, to incorporate the business, to incorporate it. Then we did a name search, and we're just naming our own way, And then after the name search, of course, like the dreams are, in most cases, you find you put the business in your names, right? So it was me and my sister. I don't know what name we came up with. We did a name search, and the name wasn't existing, so we're good to go. But before that, something appeared in the news that about some non-authorized immigration consultants, and it was a criminal matter. And the issue is like they were practicing immigration without a license. Then I told my sister, so we're supposed to be licensed. So we cannot even open this office. We're supposed to be licensed. Then we thought, well, what does it take to be licensed? Maybe let's get the license. Hey, as we read, they said we have to go to school. It's a diploma. I said we are dead. So my sister was all energetic. She has this energy. She's like, okay, I'm going to register. Then I was hesitant. Then afterwards, I was like, okay. I made up my mind. I'm like, I think let's go for this thing because I'm really determined to help people who are not in Canada to come to Canada. So we registered. As I called the school, I think I was the last person they registered that period in that intake. They told me there is one slot left. If you come and did the English assessment, then you can go in. I'm like, I'm coming right now. I have to give an excuse at work. I went. So I was enrolled, and as I told my boss about it, he told me, Proscovia, this is not related to the accounting or finance management that you're doing. I don't think we shall support you, not with money, but I wanted support of time. At least to leave work early, go to school, come back home. Because at that time, I'm a mother of 4 kids. And by the way, one of our children is a special needs. He's on autism spectrum. So that is like 4 kids in one. Then plus the other 3 kids. So it was really a busy home to maintain. And the kids were younger. So it was difficult for me. And my employer didn't give me support. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. So we did that course. We finished. So we realized that for you to be licensed, you have to go to school, do the Canadian Immigration Consulting course, which was very fast paced, and COVID came in. So we did it online, which was also a blessing in disguise because we happened to study from home at that time online. And so after studying, you're supposed to, still you don't just get licensed. You're supposed to, they do some due diligence, they do background checks, but before that, you're supposed to do an English test. I don't know if any of you has done English, Canadian, the assessment, IELTS. Has anyone done IELTS, International English Language Testing Services? Have you heard about it? Yeah. Is it easy? Yeah, it's not easy. I say that test is easier for people who are younger, but as you grow, I think problems enter your brain. You can't reason very fast, but it's a tricky exam. It's doable, but it's tricky, right? So we're supposed to do that. And with that, those who know how this test is assessed, the CLB, it's in CLBs, 9 is the highest, 9 and 10. For us to be licensed, you have to hit CLB 9. That is very difficult for a person of my age. Yeah, so then afterwards, of course, they do background checks, police checks to ensure that for you to get licensed, you have to be clean. Because many people rely on you, they rely on your services. So our regulatory body exists to protect clients, okay? To protect our clients. So it exists to protect you. That's why Canadian immigration, if you're not licensed, and when I say licensed, it means you've gone through studies, and for you to maintain your license, you have to do continuous professional development courses annually. And even our licensing fee is not cheap. So it's a lot to maintain. It's a lot for us to do, and all that is done to protect the clients. So, a person providing Canadian immigration services who is not authorized or licensed. So sometimes people here see licenses in office for Kampala City Authority, I don't know, Mukono Municipality, people think that is a license. That is a license for them to operate in Uganda. It has nothing to do with Canada immigration. Okay? So for someone to say they are licensed, they should have a licensing number. Like my number is R708408. Okay? That is my number. It's not, that is public information. And also, for one to provide these services, it's so criminal. It's a criminal offense for you to provide Canadian immigration services if you're not licensed. And because people providing it, if it's in Canada, definitely it's very criminal. And if it's outside Canada, it's criminal, but they can't track you. So what happens is the consequence falls on the applicant. Unfortunately, it's you, the applicant, who is the victim, who will face the consequences. And what are the consequences? So if the system detects that you may have used unauthorized representative, then they are going to ban you for 5 years from applying to Canada. Okay? So when it comes to that and you get to a licensed person to help you out, there is nothing we can do to help you out because it's a gone case. You have to wait for your 5 years to end, unfortunately. Besides that, there is also a risk of you losing your money like me. We didn't lose a lot of money at that time. If you change it to now, at that time it was a lot. But right now, I see people lose much more money, like much more big amounts of money. So one reason as to why we did Canadian immigration and why we're always coming to Uganda to teach people is to sensitize them. Don't be too desperate to use anybody. And they appear to be so friendly. They appear to be so confident, and be very careful about people who are confident. If they say, oh, let a million ikumi ne kataboko, come back for a visa. That one is not licensed, of course, but also they are scammers. You've had stories in the news, things happening, and unfortunately, still people entrust these people. Like today they'll put in the news, then you'll hear another story, another time in the news, another story. Like we Ugandans never learn. Now, right now here, I'm going to teach you how to, first of all, detect somebody who is not authorized to do Canadian immigration. Number one, if they are too confident, okay? If they are too confident, not about the work, not about the content they are giving. I'm providing content. But if you ask me, what's the guarantee that I'll get my visa if I give you 100 million? I'll tell you I have no guarantee. Because that's the law. That is it. But if somebody says, if you bring 30 million, just bring and leave your passport with me. That one is a scammer. And they are definitely unauthorized. There is no person, no professional from Canada who is licensed to do Canadian immigration. No one will come here and tell you there is a guarantee. If they tell you, just know, if they say they are licensed, just know they are working against the licensing body. There is no law. So even as you pay your money, just know I don't guarantee you a visa. What do I guarantee you? Quality service. I guarantee the advice that I'm giving you, that it will be good. I'll push you to the best, to the point of you providing the best of your documents. And if your documents are not good enough, I'll be open and tell you, my friend, I think let's try to work on this and get back later, because this one is likely not to work. Especially if I see that it's a done deal. Like there's an application that you see and you really see that it won't go through. Then that one I advise and say, hold on, maybe that's not the best thing to do. The other thing is if they are quick to ask you for money. Okay? Because I've gotten phone calls where people say, ninayo milioni zange asatu njagala genda Kampala, Canada, kati. Njagala genda Canada, nzikuwe ddi. If you find a person who is fast, will say, zirete wano, zirete. Tukukolereko kati. So normally when people reach out to me saying that, I said, hold on. Number one, stop calling people for your money. Stop calling people for your hard-earned money. People are struggling. You can't tell them nina milioni zange wana abiri when somebody is struggling to get even 500K. So you're the one enticing them even to cheat you. So there are those I've told you, say, well, first wait, kakana. Let's do ABCD. Go back, because we have a process, by the way. To work with you, we have a process. So we shall take you back to the process. Go back, submit your profile, get it into consultation, pay for consultation, a small fee. Let's talk. Let's see how strong your information is for an application. Okay? So keep your money. Hold on. But above all, I'm going to show you how you find out online. Okay? So and I think it's okay for those of you who have your phones, you can Google find an RCIC. Just type in find an RCIC. RCIC in full is Regulated Canadian Immigration Consultant. What do you see? You can, since you're in Uganda, it may not come up easily. Just say, find an RCIC Canada, add-on Canada. So it will take you to a website that is known as CICC, Canadian Immigration and Citizenship Consultants. That is our regulatory body. So I think there will be a page that says, or a link that says search RCIC. Has anyone seen search as RCIC? Okay. Now click on that. Click on that. So it will bring you boxes to fill in information, right? It will ask for, you can search by first name, you can search by last name, you can search by business name, and you can search by RCIC number. So let's do first name. My name is Proscovia. That's why I told you it's very important for me to introduce myself like that, or anybody introducing me. My first name is Proscovia, middle name is Turiasima, last name is Nabafu. So don't ever search by Turiasima or middle names for anybody. Search by first name, Proscovia. What do you see? Anybody? This is like a seminar, by the way. You can share the microphone, because at the end of the day, if you have questions, I can answer. Yeah? Yeah, she says Nabafu Immigration Consultings. So that is our company, okay? And which means I am the only, because you searched by first name, Proscovia, I'm the only Proscovia authorized to practice Canadian immigration in the whole world, because that is, the offices can be anywhere, right? So I'm the only Proscovia. So delete the Proscovia. I want you to try something. In the country, put in Uganda. Because you can search by country. What do you see? There is nobody licensed to do Canadian immigration in Uganda. Can I repeat it? There is nobody licensed to do Canadian immigration in Uganda. That's why Mr. Lugolobi said we are an agent office. Okay? Our head office is in Edmonton, Alberta. That's why you saw Nabafu Immigration. If you see details, you'll see the address, you'll see everything connected. But in Uganda, we have an agent office. So these offices that you go to that have AC, you're just paying for their AC. They are not licensed. And by the way, we also have people coming from Canada now, also detecting people who are not authorized. Some of us here believe that when somebody comes from Canada, they've made it in life, so they can also do your paperwork. I have seen some of them, because I do TV presentations, I do so many seminars, I have seen some of them doing that, but they are not licensed. And people have believed in them. They've gone to their small offices to do Canadian immigration. But what may happen to you is you may come to be banned for 5 years from entering Canada. That time, don't call me, because even if you call me, I will not help you. Okay? Eating your money is one thing. It's not the worst thing. You getting a negative decision is not the worst thing. Because when you apply for a visa, by the way, you apply expecting 2 outcomes. You pray to God, but God knows when to answer your prayers. Okay? We always say, let their will be done. Some of us, we say, let their will be done, then we are expecting only one will, the other side. But like I said, my Canadian journey didn't begin after high school, because that was God's will. Now I see why he preserved us to go to Canada at the time he took us. Because at that time, I'm a kind of person now who loves working and helping out, like with people. Even my main job, I work in a charity or non-for-profit, or what you call here non-government organizations. There we call them non-for-profit. I work with people and I just like helping people. So that is who I am. But be very, very, very careful. That's why I'm a CPA with a job. Actually, I'm a finance director to that organization, so I'm not jobless. I'm not here to just, steal people's money and run away. So I have a license for CPA to protect. I have a license for immigration to protect. In Canada, one license affects the other. So it's my whole life that I'm putting at stake here. So when I come here to teach people, I know, like, people on social media quote a small thing and they walk around talking. But I don't come to call you to come and use Nabafu immigration. It will be your choice. But I come to tell you, you can also do your Canadian paperwork. In case you need help, it's okay to seek help. And if this person is helping you and they are not authorized, they better not charge you. That is allowed. Okay? If they are helping you without charging you, it is okay. But you're supposed to disclose that they are helping you. Okay? If you do not disclose, it leads to what they call material misrepresentation that can make you inadmissible to Canada for 5 years. So they'll ban you for 5 years. However, if somebody is charging you even 100 shillings, that is considered consideration. My small law, by the way, I'm not good in law. I always got 50s. But the little I remember is any amount of payment is considered to be consideration. Same applies to Canadian immigration. If somebody charges you even 1 million, that is consideration. These people have to be licensed. And if they are not, there is a chance that these people have done it more often. So there is a way the government, the system detects it now. It's more, like it's, right now it appears more often than it used to happen before. There's AI and, stuff like that happening. So they'll easily detect that you've used somebody who is not authorized. And definitely, if somebody is not authorized, then they are not going to disclose. If you use somebody who is authorized, there is a document that we sign to show that I'm your authorized representative. And in most cases, I use my portal to apply for your Canadian visa. I don't use your portal. And one thing that these people who are not authorized do is that they get to use your portal, your individual immigration portals, application portals. That is illegal. That is supposed to be personal. Now they get in there because they are not authorized. Definitely they have no representative portal. They'll use your portal and sometimes they open it and use their passwords and you'll never access your portal. So if it's blocked, you cannot open another portal. So that is another risk that you'll always face. So these people, when, like, I've seen people who come to me say, "Eriyo musajja muntu yanyamba yakutwala yakosa poto yange kata I can't get in nyambako." There is no way, there is nothing I can do for you. It is a gone case. So because you just have one portal, if it's messed up, if you can't recover it, it's very difficult to open another one. So that is another thing. Be very, very careful, and they also use your personal information. You people, personal information is very, very important because somebody can even steal your identity. So you just can't release your personal information to anybody on the street. Be very, very careful. Okay? So, if you don't pick anything from here, at least know that you can do your own Canadian immigration. And if you're seeking advice, seek from a representative. And I have told you how to verify somebody who is authorized. So if you went to an office, we've already known there is nobody in Uganda. But you can challenge them. Ask them, what's your name? Are you licensed? They'll say, yeah, I'm licensed. But they may mean Kampala license. And then you say, give me your name. Just do your due diligence. Guys, do your due diligence. Now there is Google. With Google, you can access any information. Just search for yourself. And if it's not there, this person is not there, just say Kankomeo and run for your life. Okay? Otherwise, you'll cry and then nothing will be done to help you. Yes, please.
When we consult from you, from the website that you have shown us, there are some requirements that we have to fulfill to be able to qualify for that, for the immigration. So what are those requirements, or what is the whole procedure, such that we can avoid such a big loss? Because it's affecting most Ugandans here that they don't know. So I just need you to clarify what requirements are they and the procedures, such that we can know those who can go and those who can't go.
Okay, thank you. So the website that I showed you is for our regulatory body, and it has a list of everyone who is licensed. I didn't share with you the website of doing Canadian immigration. That one you'd go to official website of Canada Immigration if you want to do it. But when it comes to factors that can help you qualify, with Nabafu Immigration, what we do is, and that depends if you want to work with us, but sometimes we just encourage even to come and seek information so that you're safe you're smart, you have all the information, they can't scam you. So what we normally do, if somebody says they're interested in coming to Canada, what we tell them is submit your profile. Because some people can say, njagala kusasula. No. We tell them, no, don't pay. We need to have your profile first. So when you submit your profile, it's for pre-assessment. So we make a pre-assessment and then we send you an email that you're likely to qualify for this or anything else. And if you're not, for specific program, we still encourage you to come and we have a conversation. Okay? So because we have your profile, like I say, unless you're twins, but sometimes even twins, their profile will still be different because there may be something one other person has not done. So people have, even as siblings, you have a different profile. So when we assess your profile, we submit to you, we respond with an email, and then we encourage you, if you need to understand deeper about your possibilities, then you're encouraged to pay for consultation. Now, consultation is 1 hour. It takes 1 hour at least. We don't charge if there is extra time on that 1 hour, but we leave you satisfied, at least to make an informed decision. So at that time, even as I stand here, the information I speak is general information. It's not related, it's not tailored to you. So at that time, we use your profile to give you tailored advice. Okay? So that advice will help you to make a decision. You may say, my money, let me invest in something else, Canada biganye, you know? Or you may say, I am ready and I have a sponsor. Or you may say, let me get back to you. So afterwards, we do not force you, and this is why we charge for consultation. Our intention is not to charge for consultation. But number one, it takes 1 hour, and there are only 24 hours in a day. So the people who want to come to Canada are so many. Now we're just Ugandans, but we work with people from very many countries. So if we're to give out 1 hour free, trust me, life in Canada, biba biganye. So what we do is we charge you for that hour. We charge 200 Canadian dollars, and that money, when you retain us to do your application, instead of charging you 2.5, we deduct that 200. So you pay 2.3. So at the end of the day, people who retain us don't actually pay for consultation. Okay? Because the money you will have paid, we apply it on the invoice to reduce your amount payable. But if you do not retain us, I think since we started practicing, there's only one lady who was not, it's not that she wasn't satisfied with the content. Maybe this lady had gone through a lot, And I think people think that when you've lost your job, things are not working, that's the time to think about Canada. Canada doesn't want rejects. Canada doesn't want people who are struggling. Okay? They want to assess you in such a way, especially if you're applying for temporary residence, you should prove that you're going back to your country. So don't wait. If you think you will ever want to come to Canada and you're well off, don't say, Bana ibintu nkyali bulungi, mpaye myaka gyange egi. Like Canadian immigration is waiting for you for your 5 years. If you feel you want it, it's better you seek the information now and then you see how you can plan it. So, for those who don't retain us, in most cases, 99.999 have appreciated the information we've given them. And trust me, they are not on the list of people who are being scammed. They understand where they are and they understand if they need to work on something. If they understand knowing biganye for now, unless mukama anga akoze ebyamagero. That is also there. Because I believe as long as you're still breathing, God can turn around things. So it's important to know such that when time comes and God has turned around things, you know what you can qualify for and what you can go for. So that is when we give you the requirements. After consultation, we guide you and you choose the program that works for you, and we tell you the requirements. You do a self-evaluation because I don't know you. I don't know the money you have in your bank account. I don't know your rich relatives. I don't know their capability. So it's you who does the self-assessment, and then you decide and say, oh, maybe we can start. So we always get 3 outcomes. So because we charge that hour, we do not want people to get pressured to retain us if they are not ready. Because you paid for it. So I've had people who we do consultation and after 1 year they come back. Madam Proscovia, you remember? You know, there are also those people. But it's important that you learn and you know what you're working towards for. So different requirements are for different programs that you're trying to, that really would work for you after consultation. That's when we give you all the necessary requirements. Yeah. Any other question? Let me share with you one thing. One very, very important thing. Canada jobs. Who has seen Canada jobs being advertised anywhere? Who has tried them? Martha, even you've tried them? On TikTok. Leave alone TikTok. Me, I've seen, TikTok is even better. I've seen them, they've written somewhere on a blackboard, somewhere on the road, jobs in cleaners in Canada, we pay for your ticket. Have you seen them? Okay. They are not only in Uganda. Now let me tell you, it's very hard to get a job in Canada while you're here. It's next to impossible. Okay? And this is what it is. It doesn't mean that there are no jobs. Even in Canada as a visitor, you're not allowed to work. You're not entitled to work. So for the people who advertise the jobs, please don't go there. Let me tell you why. Because many people come to me saying, njagala nfunira omulimu, njagala kujja Canada kola. Seriously, I'm a licensed recruiter for temporary foreign workers. I have failed to get jobs. I have moved to provinces as low as farms. I have failed to get jobs. The common people who get jobs there or because they have their routing, maybe the Indians, the Filipinos, but probably even if I was to get jobs, I don't think I would get them. You know why? Because of the mentality of our people. I fear because I may get a contract to get jobs, and then you come here, you get people, you reach there, somebody calls them, what's your caller? Where were you? Where were you? Seeking asylum. Because that's the mentality of us Ugandans. The community initiates, they impart something different in you that you end up putting me at risk. So much as I was trying to do it, I was also hesitant. Is it the best thing for me to do? But so far, my countrymen, I'm sorry to disappoint you. That is something I still fear to do. But don't worry, you've not lost a lot because I got nothing. Okay? So for Canadians to employ temporary foreign workers, number one, they have to seek authorization from the government. Like, for example, if Nabafu Immigration wants to hire, my brother, what's your name? Rocky. What's your profession? Electro-engineering. Okay, supposing Nabafu Immigration has grown so big, we've diversified, and we want electro-engineers, okay? So if I want to hire Brother Rocky, I will not... okay, I will not just give him a job offer. It's not good enough. So I am supposed to seek permission from the Canadian government to employ Brother Rocky because he's a temporary foreign worker. Why? Because Canada government protects its own before it takes care of foreigners. That is a hard fact. The belief is all countries are supposed to take care of their citizens before they consider people outside. So that's what it is. Now, before I seek authorization, I have to prove to the Canadian government that I have failed to get Canadians or permanent residents to do the job. And how? There are things that I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to advertise for that job. Then when I'm advertising it, there is a minimum amount of salary that I can't pay below that amount of salary. So I have to advertise with that amount, and because they don't want you to fail to give Canadians jobs, they don't want you to give Canadians jobs, and you want to just take advantage of temporary foreign workers underpaying them. They don't want that either, okay? So you advertise for that job for a minimum of 4 weeks. And then during the advertisement, you're supposed to be recruiting actively, like shortlisting them, doing interviews with them, and you're supposed to give a full report that I put it, and you're supposed to advertise to at least 3 platforms, one being Canada Job Bank. I don't know if anyone knows Canada Job Bank, but it's a common one. Now, Canada Job Bank has all jobs. It's a requirement, like if you're applying for that authorization, it's called LMIA. You're supposed to advertise on Canada Job Banks. Then you're supposed to get 2 more platforms. That ad is supposed to run from the time you start running it until you apply for that LMIA. That authorization is called LMIA. That's an abbreviation. So until they make a decision on your application. So if I advertise, I do interviews, I fail to get Canadians or permanent residents, then I am going to say, well, I have identified Brother Rocky. So I will apply to the government to give me authorization to employ him, which means I'll be applying for an LMIA. LMIA in full is Labor Market Impact Assessment Report. Okay? So ideally, the government of Canada is going to assess the impact of employing Rocky on the Canadian labor market. Question being that if employing Rocky is going to make a Canadian lose a job or miss out on a job, then I'll get a negative outcome on that application. If it's positive, it means if I employ Rocky, that is good onto the Canadian job market. Probably you're bringing in skills that you're going to teach the Canadians still, stuff like that. If it's neutral, it means that I can employ Rocky. I may not. So that is also okay. So it may, because, I can employ Rocky, but the impact on the labor market is neutral. So with that, I can still employ. Now let me tell you about this LMIA. It is complicated. It is tedious. It is it consumes a lot of time. No Canadian wants to do it. So the employers mostly do not want to do it. So what they do, most of them, they hire people like us to do it. And for NRCIC, may charge minimum $4,000 to prepare an LMIA, to process that LMIA for you. Then the government also requests $1,000 per employee. I said minimum $4,000, others go up to tens of thousands. Tell me, if you're a business person, would you employ somebody in Uganda that you don't know and you put in $5,000? They don't. So same applies to Canadian employers, and they are worse. For them, they are worse than any employer out there, They are not going to just go for it. So most LMIs are done for people they know. They put in time because they know this person, and maybe they're helping this person, and maybe something like that, but not somebody they don't know. It's very, very, very difficult. So challenge these people advertising for jobs. Go to them and say, do you have LMIA? See what they even don't know. They say, Ogambachi? Because they don't know. And whether it's a job of a cleaner or a professor, it's the same. The process is the same. They're supposed to have LMIs. Because in Canada, all jobs are equally important. And they go through the same immigration process. Nobody should lie to you that I have Canadian jobs. If you go do it, at least you've learned. The Bible says, God will judge those... What's that verse? Ignorance time God overlooked, but now he commands all men to repent. Like God will judge you according to what you know. Now this is different. God won't judge you for you being scammed, but you'll get your consequences here on earth. You don't have to wait until you die. Okay? Or until Jesus comes back. It will happen right away. So, LMIAs, any job being advertised, LMIA. There is a job that people think can easily apply for it, caregiver job. Because of the caregiver export, labor export in the Middle East. There is a lady who called me one time, and she was asking me, Madam Nabafu, do you have caregiver jobs? I'm like, I don't have caregiver jobs. I don't have any job. And then she's like, waliwo wano mchala, yatusaba million abiri. But she's processing for us caregiver program. But recently she told us we have to get jobs ourselves. Now, each program has an eligibility factor. And the first thing with the caregiver program, you must, especially at that time, right now they've modified it a little bit, but the modifications, they help people in Canada, not people outside Canada. If you're outside Canada, to qualify, you have to have a job offer. So that woman knew very well that these people won't even apply for this program because they didn't have jobs. And then she pretended later on, said, ebintu byakachuka kati baagala mufune omulimu. When you get your own job, come back to me. She told me, nagenda okulaba tuli ku WhatsApp group tuli banji. Beyajjako million abiri. I'm like, people here, it's easy to get rich. Me, I'm there struggling, even Lukumi doesn't come. But you see, that is what is happening. People are ignorant. And if something happens, try to read a little bit about it. Don't just grush. Don't just trust people. Okay? So, that is a common thing about caregivers. Now, let me tell you, getting jobs with caregivers. Right now, they've modified it. In this year, they modified it. You can get from organizations providing services to people who need help, either in their homes or in institutions. But the common one is people in their homes. There is no way, I don't know about Middle East how they do it, but Canadians, there is no way somebody is going to trust you to come and take care of their kids when they don't know you. Even me, I cannot. I don't know. Right now I say if I'm to come back to Uganda and have kids, I'm not bringing house girls in my house. No. I'm going to stay with my kids. The worst will be taking them to a daycare. It is not good. So same applies to Canadians. They are not going to just bring in their home to take care in their space because you're taking care of their loved ones. You're from Uganda. So those jobs are not easy. Like I said, we have a special needs son, but trust me, the people who take care of my son, I have to know you in and out. And mostly I take my siblings, cousins and sisters, and I do that. But it's hard for me to just get somebody from outside. So that is the reality of caregiver jobs. They may, on social media, on TikTok. By the way, Nabafu Immigration, we closed our TikTok account because somebody was scamming people in our name. They opened a similar account. And people would ask them, they'll think it's us. They tell them, inbox me. So we had, on our YouTube channel, we had to release a video saying that deal with them at your own risk. We are not on TikTok. So if you see anything on TikTok saying Nabafu Immigration, that's not us. Okay, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know, sometimes we upload the videos with new content. Subscribe to on our Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Don't ask me so many things. It's not for those things. Somebody else manages them. But yeah, but at least you'll get up-to-date information. Any other question? Okay. Oh, how much time do I have, by the way? Okay, let me ask my husband, how much time do I have? 30 minutes. The big man has said 30. You guys, okay, 30 minutes. Let's utilize it. Yes, my brother. Can we move this one?
You can come back.
Yeah, yeah. It's good?
While we're starting, you mentioned about applications to universities for both the UK and Canada. Could you throw some light into that?
Okay, we have gotten, thank you, my brother. So we're in partnership. By the way, we're doing so many things. We're not only doing Canadian immigration, but I emphasize Canada immigration because that's where I'm staying. So sometimes I forget other countries, sorry. But we do recruitment for universities in, like I said, Australia, UK, USA, and Germany. So when we do Canada admission, so that is not related to our licensing. So those are partnerships that we have, okay? So some of the institutions we have direct partnership to recruit for them students, international students, whereas others we use their other organizations that we partner with. So we partner with 2 organizations and we can get you admission from there. So if we get admission and you want us to help you with, if it's a country, I think Australia needs licensing, I think. For Australia, we shall not do your paperwork because we are not licensed. For countries that do not need licenses, we can do your application, visa applications as well. Okay, so we can do Germany, we can do UK, we can do US, and we can do Canada for you. So we help you from the point of, seeking admission, and then support you with visa application if it's your wish. Yeah. And one thing that I had forgotten, it's good you asked me that question. I remembered something very, 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 very important. And that is the organization we've partnered with for international students to seek, international students to access student loans to study in Canada. So far, it's just in Canada. So this organization is called Passage. One thing that we've noticed, you can also go on Google and Google them. If you do it yourself, it's still okay because we are the sole partners. But I've realized people who pass through us get better support and bigger chances of them to succeed in this loan assessment. So with Passage, you can access up to $65,000 in funding, so they can fund your study. Your tuition and cost of living. Cost of living they'll give you for 1 year. For tuition, they will pay to the school for the 2 years maximum. So at least the courses they are funding, the longest one will be 2 years. So when you access that one, it helps you, even if you have the money. By the way, they do the loan assessment, and it will be difficult for you to go through that assessment if you don't have the money. So at least you have the money, but instead of putting all this money in education, they expect you to pay between 25 and 35% of the loan amount as collateral, which is also going to help in your loan repayment. It's not that they are taking it, but it's also their security. They don't know you, but it also helps to lower your monthly loan repayment because you're expected to pay it the first month that when you go to Canada, let me say you're starting your studies in September, then October 1st, you start paying for this loan for 7 years. I mean, with the visa officer, you won't tell them you'll be paying the loans for 7 years because they'll refuse to give you a visa. They expect you to march out after your studies. Practically in Canada, you don't go out of your after your studies. We guide you to doing a course which has jobs in demand. So you qualify for what they call a postgraduate work permit that is going to enable you to work after your studies. And as it depends, the duration of that program depends on the duration of your course. If you do a course of 8 months to 1 year, you get a PGWP of up to 1 year. If you did a course that is eligible, of course, in an eligible institution of 2 years and above, then you get a PGWP of 3 years. So within the 3 years, by God's grace, you will have become a strong candidate to apply for permanent residency because you have Canadian education, you have Canadian experience. So you're not like somebody who is outside Uganda where competition is harder. You stand more chances to qualify even through provincial nominations. So that is it. That is something very important that I was going to forget sharing with you about. So even thinking about the loan, don't say, like people who say, Nina kataka kange, please don't sell your land on something you're not sure of. There is no guarantee. So much as the loan you pay for 7 years, we're supposed to prove to the government that you're going to pay it within the 2 years of your course because you're supposed to show the government, prove the government that you're living after your study. Practically, they also want you maybe to stay. Don't quote me here on social media. I'm not saying they want you to stay. Because the programs that are there after, like enable you to stay legally, like postgraduate work permit will enable you to stay legally, and hence you stand a high chance of qualifying for permanent residency. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much for that information. Now I have a question about the education. What if someone has attained an education, a Canadian education, but outside online, I should say, a postgraduate? Does that permit that you've talked about, the PGWP, yes, work for someone who has not literally gone to Canada to attain it, but they actually have it? Would it apply from a recognized institution? Because I recently did one, but I'm not sure. I searched for the institution. It appears to be legitimate, which offered a postgraduate diploma. So now I'm wondering if that permit would actually work for it. Okay. Then can I ask the other question?
Let me first answer that one. Because of my age, I don't remember so many questions. I hide. That's an excuse. But I just want to not to answer you properly. And it will be a long answer. Maybe you first sit. So for postgraduate for postgraduate courses and undergraduate courses that are not degrees, like a certificate, a diploma, undergrad, then postgraduate certificate or diploma. Those two are categorized in the same way when it comes to eligibility for PGWP. For you to qualify for PGWP, if you do those, you're supposed to do in the courses that lead you to jobs that are in high demand in Canada. And also in institutions that are eligible for PGWP. Now, there are two things. There's one thing, the college or university may be, mostly colleges, they may be legit, but they may not be eligible for PGWP. So it's very important. Sometimes if you're not sure, seek advice of a person who recruits for universities, because they can advise you. And even then, if you seek advice from a person who is also an immigration consultant, that's the beauty we have with Nabafu. So in Nabafu, there are so many packages in one. We are licensed recruiters, we are licensed immigration consultants, and I happen to be also a CPA. So financially, I can give you proper advice. And when it comes to choosing universities or colleges, we can advise you the right ones and also the right courses. Sometimes it will lead you to just leaving your path a little bit. Okay? For example, if you have a bachelor's in accounting and you want to do a postgrad, you come to me and say you want to do a postgrad in I don't know what related to accounting, that is not in demand. I would advise you not to do it. But if you just went to any other person, they'll just recruit and take you there. Then after your school, you pack your bags and come back to Uganda. But remember that that education, you will have invested a lot. Some of our parents put in their all with hope that, when you settle there, then you'll help and stuff like that. So it's better you do courses with jobs in demand so you can achieve also these other goals. Now, your question was online. So during COVID, it was possible, but on condition that the institution is eligible for PGWP. Okay, so you have to know that. And also the course is eligible for PGWP, but not now. I think unless they tell you, some courses you can start online, but you have to end it at least in Canada. There is no way you can finish it outside Canada and you get PGWP. No. No. You can come and use this one.
And the next question is about, you didn't mention about the prices. You talked about the 200 Canadian dollars for consultation. Yeah. So what happens after that? Because I remember, okay, for a normal Ugandan, it might actually seem like a lot. Because I remember when I saw the name on the poster, I remembered that in 2021, I consulted and I got an email. But when I saw the money,
You didn't consult?
No, I didn't consult. I sent an email. I did a pre-assessment. Then I got an email that I was eligible and I was supposed to pay for consultation.
Yes.
But when I saw the money, I didn't proceed I didn't proceed after that. So I actually checked it was 2021. So which other, maybe it would be nice if you tell us that yes, you'd pay the 200 and then after that the whole process might take around maybe 2,000 or 3,000 so that someone doesn't waste the 200 yet they can't afford the rest of the money that is going to come after that.
Okay, thank you, my brother. So I hinted on that before. I said the reason to why we do consultation is for you not to burn your money. Okay? Like an organization that is not legit will just bring you to bring even more than $200, right? And I also mentioned that the $200 for people who retain us is given back as a discount. So our motive is not to charge for consultation, but for you to run a business, providing our business, we sell time. We cannot inject 1 hour to many people. The people who want to come to Canada, they are so many. Like if we give free consultations, then we shall cease to exist. But we also want to exist. Maintaining a practice is not cheap. There are a lot of expenses that go within. And yes, it's Canadian, it's not Uganda shillings. Because we operate in Canada. Even when you pay, your money goes to Canada. Never attack Mr. Olugolobi for any money. He's not receiving any money, especially for Canadian immigration. The rules, our practice, the rules of our practice is you pay, it goes direct to a bank in Canada because we are highly regulated. Now, it's just not easy for me to say, you guys, our consultation is 200, don't come if you're not able to, because I don't know your ability. And like I said, the people who we have consulted with, not all of them retain us. But because they pay for that 1 hour, what they've achieved is much better than that 200. Like I said, 99.999% live contented, and they are always thankful. Because the information that I'm giving right now, I charge it, right? I charge it. Right now I'm giving it free because I always give free services. Like I always give pro bono through seminars and stuff like that. But also, it's also hard to maintain a business without charging. It will not be possible. So, how do I save you when you pay one? That time it was 150. Right now it's 200. That time, visitors visa, we used to charge 1,500. Now it's 2,500. Actually, the cheapest visa processing that we do is 2,500. And if you paid your consultation, you just pay 2,300. And of course, we can't do your paperwork without consultation. It's a requirement in our practice because you have to tell the client everything that they expect to see. No surprises. And it's supposed to be reflected in your consultation. So it's a must to do it because we never know who wants to retain us and who doesn't. But even if they don't retain us, at least we save them from being cheated. You know? And we teach you on how to seek information for yourself. And knowledge is power. If you're empowered, then you're protected, and then you will not be taken for granted. Like, yeah. So I don't know if that is answerable. That has answered your question, but yeah, that's what it is. So we have to do consultation, and we don't force anybody. Okay? When we respond to you on email, we do not force anybody to do consultation. We say for those who want to continue. Now, there is no way, and sorry to say this, but it's the reality. If you fear to risk $200, then I may not trust you to pay the $2,500. So it's not wasting each other's time. Me, if you waste my time, you're wasting my money. If you put in your money to do consultation, you're saving your money in the long run because there's a lot you're going to learn. You're going to learn about your position or the position of your profile, where you are, and what you need to work on. There's just a lot of education that you learn from the consultation. Yeah. Did I answer you properly? Yeah. So don't be compelled to pay for consultation. Only those who are interested to pay for consultation, come for consultation. We never go back to those who didn't come and say, hey, we received your profile. They are in thousands, by the way. So we are used, like when we do TV presentations, the moment I just finish saying the email address and the number, oh man, things are going to be messages like messages. But trust me, out of those, only 3 people may retain you. But we are okay because they've gotten the knowledge. And that's why we continue still sensitizing people about all these things. Because that's the sole reason as to why we went into immigration. Like I said, we are CPS, but we are doing this because there is something more than money that we benefit, and that's serving the people. I think it will be the last question.
We only have 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay.
Okay, then the last question, you've talked about temporary visa, right? So do you deal with permanent also, like permanent residency? And so that's a different price for permanent residency. Yes. So what happens after someone has gotten the temporary visa and they have immigrated to Canada? Are there any other services that are offered after that? Yeah.
So, yes, we offer other services. Number one, we don't get you where to stay. Please don't ask me, I'm coming, enda kubera. That is not us. Okay? That is not us. And my house is just enough for my family. And I mean, as somebody like who may need help, I can come in. But I don't come to promise you to come to Canada and me to take care of you. That is completely out. And be careful, people who say those are still under the umbrella of scammers. Okay? Those things. Okay. So, the other services we do, if you come as a visitor, now as a visitor, to change from, as a visitor, you're expected to go back home, right? And if there's anything happens that you're changing your status, then you can come back to us till we do your status change. I am not going to talk about how do you change status as a visitor. Number one, the common one, if you get married, if you find somebody, Canadian, marries you off and you want to do sponsorship, family sponsorships, we do them. Some seek asylum, it's illegal for me to tell anyone come to Canada to seek asylum. That is very illegal, by the way. But at the same time, I don't have the power. Like, I can't work on if I know you're coming to seek asylum. You don't have to expose it to me. And if you're there, that is your business. I don't do asylum seeking. Our practice is not licensed to do asylum seeking. It's by choice. We don't do it. And but others, if you like any other status change, there are not many options as a visitor. But as a student, yeah, we help you, support you applying for PGWP. We support you to apply for permanent residency. We even support you to apply for citizenship. So we do many programs. So as you come to us and we do a pre-assessment, we see what you may qualify for. If it's permanent residence right away, we tell you if you have the requirements, then we support you. So we do many. We do a lot. Actually, we even do private refugee sponsorship. Don't ask me you want to come for refugee. You're not a refugee in Uganda. You're very comfortable in your country. But I'm just giving you an example of many, many programs that we do. So as I end, I hope this has been beneficial to you all. So Nabafu Immigration is here. We just launched, we had a press launch opening of our offices in Mukono, Ginger Road, opposite Davis and Shatcliffe offices, Jolea Complex. That's where we are in case you need or you know anybody who needs something genuine. Genuine. We're not going to hype you. We're going to tell you the reality, okay? And secondly, so because when we held this office launch, many people wanted to come, but we couldn't. It was closed to public. It was only an invitation. So we decided to do a seminar because people were demanding for it. We're planning to do a seminar on Wednesday. On Wednesday at next week, because we're about to go back. And that will be in the same venue, Jolea Complex. And but that seminar this time round, we're going to charge 50,000 for it. It will not be free. So the information you've gotten here and much more, this has been free. The other side, it will be much more, but it will be at 50,000 because we have to cover the basic costs. Okay? So, yeah. Those who want to know, we have offices there. You can also direct WhatsApp me on +1 780 200 6915. The flyers are passing by. The other line is +1 587 974 6171. Then there is also our Ugandan office line, which I never get in my head because my head is tired. But we have Mr. Lugolobi there to tell us the office line. And you can go physically. Martha is our administrator at the office. That beautiful lady you see over there. Yeah, so Martha. Yeah, so they're lovely people. They'll help you through whatever you want. But no paying money to Ugandan office. And don't come back to them that you've not gotten your visa, you want your money back. And yeah, don't harass my people. They are innocent. They don't do immigration. Don't force them to do your Canada immigration. They are not licensed. We're the ones licensed. The main office is in Canada. We're also venturing into Germany because it's also another country that lets people settle easily. When you come and you feel like Canada is too heavy for you financially, we can also talk Germany. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I've not been able to see Elder Samson still, but tell him thanks. It's been good worshiping with you people and sharing this information with you. May God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Proscovia, for giving us this time and such important information. May God bless you. We value your time so much and the information you have delivered to us. Dr. Samson was supposed to be here this evening, but I think he's still caught up there at Silver Springs. We have a Sabbath school. I think he has just not made it on time, but thank you so much for allowing his invitation to come and present to us. Thank you everyone else for being around. May God bless you and a blessed week ahead. I'll invite ourselves to humble for a word of prayer. We are praying. Our God and our Father in heaven, we want to thank you so much for the information we have received just this evening. Thank you for you have saved us from the scams that may have been just ahead of us. And we pray that we make use of this information and the resource that you brought to us this evening. We pray that you dismiss us with your blessings as we face the new week. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.